Hello and welcome to Lucid Mind. I'm Majid and in this video I'll be solving another chemistry paper from Cambridge IGCSE Core Chemistry. This is paper 1 variant 2 from February-March 2020. You can also go to the specific question of your need by following the link given in the video description. Let's begin. Question 1. Which row represents the particles of a gas colliding most frequently? First thing is the pressure and second thing is the temperature. Now as we know that pressure is inversely proportional to the volume, it means that when we increase the pressure the molecules come close together and volume decreases. So when the molecules will be closer together there are more frequent collisions. So the pressure should be higher for more collisions. Second thing is temperature. Temperature is actually directly proportional to the kinetic energy of the molecules. So when we increase the temperature, kinetic energy also increases and definitely collisions also increase. So the temperature should be high for more collisions. So therefore answer is A. Question 2. Which test is used to show that a sample of water is pure? A. Evaporate the water to see if any solids remain. This is not the test for purity. B. Heat the water to check its boiling point. Yes, this can be used for the purity test because we know that a pure substance always has fixed boiling point. C. Test with anhydrous copper 2 chloride. Now this is a test for water but it is not test for the purity of water. So therefore it cannot be used. D. Universal indicator paper to check its pH. Now it can only give you the value of pH, not the purity of a substance, so therefore this is also incorrect. So the only test for the purity is boiling point, so therefore answer is B. Question 3. Which piece of apparatus is used to measure 1.5 cm³ of a solution accurately? We have 1.5 cm³. In order to find this value, we must find the apparatus that can be used to measure 0.5 cm³ minimum volume. A. 25 cm³ measuring cylinder. Now in measuring cylinder we can measure the volume with a difference of 1 cm³ only. So therefore measuring cylinder cannot be used. B is pipette. Now the volume of pipette is fixed, so you can only find out 25 cm³, not less than this. C is 50 cm³ measuring cylinder. Again the minimum division for measuring cylinder is 1 cm³, so by increasing the volume the accuracy does not increase, so therefore this is also incorrect. D is 50 cm³ burette. In burette we have minimum division of 0.1 cm³, so therefore it is the most accurate among these. So burette is the only instrument by which you can measure 1.5 cm³ accurately. Question 4. A representation of an atom is shown. This is the diagram. What is the nucleon number of this atom? Nucleon number means number of protons plus number of neutrons present in the nucleus of any atom. In this given atom we can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 protons present and 7 neutrons are present. So 6 plus 7 we have 13 nucleon number. So the answer is D. Question 5. Lithium reacts with fluorine to form a compound lithium fluoride. Which statement about this reaction is correct? Lithium is from group 1 of the periodic table and it is alkali metal, while fluorine is from group 7 and it is halogen. Now we know that when making bonds, group 1 loses 1 electron, group 7 gains 1 electron. So therefore lithium will form lithium positive ion and fluorine will form fluoride negative ion. And the bonding between lithium and fluoride is called ionic bonding. We have A. Each fluorine atom gains 1 electron. Now this is true because fluorine has 7 electrons in the outermost shell and it needs 1 more electron to complete its octet. B. Each fluorine atom gains 2 or more electrons. Now this is wrong because fluorine just needs 1 electron to complete its octet. C. Each fluorine atom loses 1 electron. No, fluorine atom does not lose it. It is actually lithium that loses an electron. D. Each fluorine atom loses 2 or more electrons. Again, this is incorrect. So therefore, correct option is A. Question 6. Ammonia NH3 is a covalent molecule. Which diagram shows the outer shell electronic arrangement in a molecule of ammonia? Now the formula of ammonia is NH3 and there are 3 single covalent bonds between nitrogen and hydrogen. Nitrogen belongs to group 5 of the periodic table and it has 5 electrons in the outermost shell, while hydrogen just has 1 electron in its outermost shell. Now let's find the number of electrons in the outermost shell. In A, we can see that nitrogen has just 3 electrons in the outermost shell. Actually, nitrogen must have 5 electrons, so A is wrong. In B, we can see there are again 3 electrons present in the outermost shell of nitrogen, so B is also incorrect. In C, we can see 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 electrons in the outermost shell of nitrogen, and hydrogen has 1 electron in the outermost shell. This hydrogen and this hydrogen also has 1 electron each. So therefore option C seems to be correct. In option D, again we can see there are 5 electrons in the outermost shell of nitrogen, but there are 2 electrons in the outermost shell of hydrogen. So D is also incorrect. So answer is C. Question 7. Which row describes the structure and a use of diamond? In diamond, carbon atoms are present, and each carbon atom makes 4 single covalent bonds with other carbon atoms, and this structure goes on. So this is a very giant molecule and covalent bonding is present in this. So the structure of diamond is macromolecular, it is not ionic, and use of diamond is cutting tools. It is not lubricant because diamond is very hard substance and graphite is actually used as a lubricant. So therefore correct option is C. Question 8. Methane burns in air to form carbon dioxide and water. What is the balanced equation for this reaction? Let's write the chemical equation for the combustion of methane. We have CH4, methane. It reacts with oxygen and forms carbon dioxide and water. Now balancing this chemical equation, we have 1 carbon atom on the reactant side and 1 on the product side, so carbon is balanced. We have 4 hydrogen atom on the reactant side and 2 on the product side, so we can write 2 with H2O. Now hydrogen atoms are balanced. Let's find the oxygen atoms. We have 2 oxygen with carbon dioxide and 2 with water, so we can write 2 on the reactant side and it will become 4 atoms of oxygen. Now this equation is balanced and we can see that the option is B. Question 9. Which statement about electrolysis is correct? Electrolysis is made up of 2 words. One is electro and second is lysis. Electro means electric current and lysis means breakdown. So it means that in electrolysis actually the compounds are broken down into its elements. A says chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. This is not true for electrolysis. B says electrons flow through the electrolyte. Now this is wrong because through the electrolyte electrons cannot flow. It is actually the ions that flow through the electrolyte. C. Ionic compounds are broken down. This is the correct statement. D. Metals are formed at the positive electrode. Now metals lose electrons, and when they lose electrons they form cations. And cations move towards negative electrode, which is called the cathode. So this is wrong. So correct option is C. Question 10. Which energy level diagram shows the reaction that will give out the most energy? Giving out of energy means that the reaction is actually exothermic. In exothermic, what happens that the energy of product is always less than the energy of the reactants because the energy is actually lost into the surroundings. And to find out the most energy, we have to find out the difference between the reactants and products. Larger the difference, the more will be the energy released. We have 4 options, A, B, C and D. And we can see that in A, the products have less energy as compared to the reactants. So A is exothermic reaction, so it could be A. In B, the products have more energy, so therefore this is endothermic. In C, again products have more energy, so this is also endothermic. In D, products have lesser energy, so this is exothermic reaction. Now comparing A and D, which are both exothermic, we can see that the energy difference in A between the reactant and products is quite large as compared to the energy difference in D. So therefore A gives out more energy and therefore option A is correct. Question 11. Which change is a physical change? In physical change, no chemical reaction takes place, so we can easily reverse the process. A. Copper carbonate changes color from green to black when it is heated and stays black when it cools. So this is a chemical reaction, this is not a physical change. B. Ethanol reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. Again, this is a chemical reaction, the oxidation of ethanol takes place and it forms carbon dioxide and water. C. Hydrogen peroxide decomposes into water and oxygen when it is boiled. C is also a chemical reaction in which hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2, it converts into oxygen and H2O, so it cannot be reversed. D says ice forms liquid water when it is heated. Now D is a physical change because ice can be converted into liquid water upon heating and liquid water can be reversed back to ice upon cooling. So therefore D is the correct option as it shows the physical change. Question 12. Marble chips, which is actually calcium carbonate, react with hydrochloric acid in an exothermic reaction. This is the word equation. Calcium carbonate reacts with HCl to form calcium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. When excess marble chips are added to dilute hydrochloric acid, the rate of the reaction starts off fast, then gets slower until the reaction stops. Why does the reaction rate get slower? Now rate of reaction depends upon the concentration of the reactants. Greater the amount of reactants, faster will be the chemical reaction. A. The concentration of hydrochloric acid is decreasing. With the passage of time, what happens is that the concentration of both HCl and calcium carbonate is decreasing. Now calcium carbonate is in excess, so therefore A is correct option. B. The concentration of calcium chloride is increasing. Calcium chloride is one of the product, it is not the reactant, so it does not decrease or increase the rate of chemical reaction, so therefore this is incorrect. C is the calcium carbonate is completely used up. When calcium carbonate is completely used up, then the reaction should stop, it shouldn't get slower. And also marble chips are in excess, so therefore calcium carbonate cannot be completely used up. It will be left behind. D. The temperature of the reaction mixture decreases. The reaction is exothermic in nature, so therefore we are not heating this reaction in order to take place. So therefore this is also incorrect. The correct option is therefore A. Question 13. The diagram shows the change from an anhydrous salt to its hydrated form. Which statement is correct? Anhydrous means without water, so there is no water present in anhydrous salt. When we add few drops of water, the reaction goes in forward direction and the salt becomes hydrated. Now it has some amount of H2O physically present. A. The forward reaction requires heat and water. Now it does not require heat, it only requires water. B. The forward reaction requires water only. This is correct because water will make it hydrated. C. The reverse reaction requires heat and water. No, it does not require water, it actually requires only heat. So therefore when we heat the hydrated salt, H2O will be removed and it will convert into anhydrous salt. D. The reverse reaction requires water only. Again, this is incorrect, only heat is required for the reverse reaction. So the correct option is B. Question 14. A violent reaction occurs when a mixture of chromium-3 oxide and aluminium is ignited with a magnesium fuse as shown. The equation for the reaction is shown. Cr2O3 reacts with aluminum and forms chromium along with aluminum oxide. Which substance is oxidized in this reaction? Now we can see in the chemical equation, oxygen is lost by chromium, so therefore chromium is reduced, while oxygen is gained by aluminum, so therefore aluminum is oxidized. So it is the aluminum metal that oxidizes. A is aluminum, so it is correct. B is aluminum oxide, it is incorrect. C is chromium, again this is the product, so it is incorrect. D is chromium oxide, this one is reduced. So correct option is A. Question 15. A farmer's soil is acidic. Which substance should the farmer add to neutralize the soil? Now acidic soil can be neutralized by the presence of base. So we can find the answers. A is ammonium sulfate. This is a salt, so it does not neutralize as acid. B is calcium oxide. Calcium oxide reacts with H2O to form calcium hydroxide, which is a base, so therefore it can neutralize the acid. C is hydrochloric acid. Again, acid cannot neutralize acid. D is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium fertilizer, so therefore it only increases the nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium content of the soil, so it is also incorrect. So correct option is B. Question 16. 3 elements X, Y and Z are burned in oxygen. The oxide forms are dissolved in water and the pH of the solutions is measured. The results are shown. The pH of X is 2, the pH of Y is 14 and the pH of oxide of Z is 8. Which statement are correct? Now in oxides, usually this happens that metal oxides are basic in nature, so therefore the pH of metal oxide should be higher, while non-metal oxides are acidic in nature and the pH of non-metal oxides should be lower. 1. Element X could be sulfur. Sulfur oxide is SO2 and it is acidic in nature, so therefore it dissolves in water to form sulfurous acid, and the pH of sulfurous acid is low, so therefore it could be 2, so 1 is correct. 2. Element Y could be sodium. Now the oxide of sodium is Na2O. It will react with water to form sodium hydroxide and it is a strong alkali, so therefore the pH should be higher, so this is also correct. 3. Element Z is a non-metal. Now non-metal oxides are acidic in nature, so therefore the pH should be lower than 7, but this is 8, so therefore it is incorrect. For 4th option, we have no metal elements were used. This is also incorrect because we have used sodium. So option 1 and 2 are correct, therefore answer is B. Question 17. The following substances can be react together to prepare salts: copper oxide and excess hydrochloric acid, hydrochloric acid and excess sodium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid and excess zinc carbonate. In which reaction can the excess reactant be separated from the solution by filtration? Now only that substance can be separated which is insoluble in the solution or insoluble in water. So therefore let's find which excess reactant is insoluble. In 1 we have excess hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid is soluble in all proportions. So therefore this is not 1. In 2 we have hydrochloric acid and excess sodium hydroxide. Again sodium hydroxide is a powerful base. So therefore it ionizes completely. So therefore it cannot be filtered. 3. Hydrochloric acid and excess zinc carbonate. Zinc carbonate is insoluble in water, so therefore it will be present in the form of solid in the solution. So therefore 3 is correct. So only 3 is the option. Question 18. Salt S is dissolved in water and 3 tests are carried out to the solution. First test is the aqueous sodium hydroxide is added, and the result is green precipitate being formed which is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. 2 is the dilute nitric acid test, in which no reaction takes place. 3 is aqueous barium nitrate addition and white precipitate is formed. What is the identity of S? Option A, we have copper 2 chloride. In option B, again we have copper 2 sulfate. In option C, we have iron 2 chloride. In option D, we have iron 2 sulfate. So we have 2 types of ions. One is copper plus 2 and one is iron plus 2. Now when both react with sodium hydroxide, what happens that copper plus 2 forms copper hydroxide and iron plus 2 will form iron hydroxide. Copper hydroxide is a precipitate which is light blue in color, and iron hydroxide is a precipitate which is green in color. So according to the first test, we have green precipitate formed, so it should be the compound of iron plus 2. So either C or D is correct. Now in C and D we have two types of ions. One is chloride ion and second is sulfate, Cl- and SO4- 2. Now first nitric acid is added and no reaction takes place, and then barium nitrate is added and white precipitate is formed. So barium will react with chlorine to form barium chloride in case of iron 2 chloride, and barium will react with sulfate to form barium sulfate. Barium chloride is a soluble salt, while barium sulfate is an insoluble salt and it is in white form. So therefore according to the third test we have white precipitate formed, so it should be sulfate. So option D is correct, which shows iron plus 2 and sulfate. Question 19. Which statement about the periodic table is correct? A. Most metallic elements are on the left, as we know that in periodic table group 1, group 2 and transition metals are all metals, so therefore this is correct. Elements in the same period have the same number of outer electrons. This is wrong because same period means same number of shells, not same number of outer electrons. C. Elements on the left are usually gases. We can see on the left we have metals, so therefore this is incorrect. D. The relative atomic mass of elements increase from right to left. This is wrong because the atomic masses increase from left to right in the periodic table. So correct option is A. Question 20. The diagram shows elements W, X, Y and Z in a section of the periodic table. We can see X and Y are in group 1 and W and Z are in group 7 of the periodic table. Which statement about the reactivity of the elements is correct? X and Y are present in group 1 of the periodic table, which is also called alkali metals, and the reactivity of alkali metals increase down the group. W and Z are present in group 7 or group 17 of the periodic table, and the reactivity of halogens decrease down the group. Let's find out the options. A. X is more reactive than Y. This is incorrect because Y should be more reactive than X. B. X is more reactive than Y. Again, this is incorrect. C. Y is more reactive than X. This is true for alkali metals. And W is more reactive than Z. This is also correct because reactivity decreases down the period, so W is more reactive than Z. D. Y is more reactive than X. This is true, and Z is more reactive than W. This is incorrect. So therefore correct option is C. Question 21. Some properties of substances are listed. Number 1. They conduct electricity. Number 2. They have low densities. Number 3. They have high melting points. Number 4. They are malleable. Which properties are shown by transition metals? Transition metals have free electrons, so therefore they can conduct electric current. The densities of transition metals is quite high. 3. They have high melting points. This is true for transition elements because there is strong force of attraction. 4. They are malleable. Now malleable means that they can be converted into sheets. This is true for metals and even for transition metals. So option 1, 3 and 4 are correct. Therefore answer is D. Question 22. Which statement about the noble gas argon is correct? A. It burns with a hot flame. Argon is unreactive, so therefore it does not burn in oxygen. B. It is used in airships because of its low density. Now argon is not used in airships. Actually helium is the noble gas that is used in airships. Argon is used in bulbs. C. It exists as diatomic molecules. Now the outermost shell of argon is complete, so therefore it does not react, so only monoatomic atoms are present. So this is also incorrect. D. It has 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Now the atomic number of argon is 18. Let's find out its electronic configuration. We have 2 electrons in the first shell, 8 in the second and 8 in the third. So in the outermost shell we have 8 electrons. So therefore option D is correct. Question 23. Sodium is a group 1 metal. Which property that is typical of most metals is not shown by sodium? Conductor of heat. Sodium is a metal, so therefore it is a conductor of heat. Sodium has high melting point. This is incorrect because the force of attraction in sodium atoms is not as stronger as compared to other metals. C. It is malleable. It can be converted into sheets. And D. It is shiny as it is a metal. So high melting point is the only property that is incorrect. So therefore answer is B. Question 24. Manganese, nickel and silver are all metals. Sample of powdered manganese, nickel and silver were placed in separate test tubes containing dilute hydrochloric acid. The results are shown. You can see hydrogen gas is being produced. What is the order of reactivity of the metals most reactive to least reactive? Now these metals react with hydrochloric acid to form salt and hydrogen. We can see few bubbles of hydrogen gas are produced in the first test tube, while in second test tube more number of molecules of hydrogen are being produced. In test tube 3 we don't have any hydrogen formed. So on the basis of hydrogen gas we can find out the reactivity. So manganese should be most reactive. Then on second number we have nickel, and silver is the least reactive among these three. So the order should be manganese, most reactive, then nickel, then silver. Question 25. Which statement about aluminium is correct? A. Aluminum is easy to extract from its ore because it is near the bottom of the reactivity series. Now this is incorrect because aluminum is hard to extract and therefore electrolysis is used. And also it is not at the bottom of the reactivity series, it is in the middle of the reactivity series. B. Aluminum is formed when aluminum oxide is heated with carbon. Now carbon is below in the reactivity series as compared to aluminum, so therefore carbon cannot reduce aluminum oxide to aluminum metal. So B is incorrect. C. Bauxite is an important ore of aluminum. The formula of bauxite is Al2O3 and this is the ore of aluminum, so therefore it is correct. Hematite is an important ore of aluminum. The formula of hematite is iron oxide Fe2O3. So therefore this is incorrect. So correct option is C. Question 26. Some properties of aluminium are listed. Number 1. It conducts heat. Number 2. It has low density. Number 3. It is strong. Number 4. It is resistant to corrosion. All these are correct. Which of these properties make aluminum suitable for making food containers for chilled food products? The only reason for making food containers is actually resistant to corrosion. So therefore only fourth option is correct for this. So answer is D. Question 27. Water is treated at a waterworks to make it fit to drink. What is present in the water when it leaves the waterworks? A. Bacteria only. Now bacteria is killed by the presence of chlorine. B is bacteria and insoluble substances. Insoluble substances are also not present in water. C. Chlorine compounds only. Now chlorine compounds are also present in drinkable water, but these are not the only ones, so therefore it is incorrect. D. Chlorine compounds and soluble substances. As we know that drinking water is also called mineral water, so therefore required amount of different minerals should be present. So answer is D. Question 28. Sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide and oxides of nitrogen are common gaseous pollutants found in the air. Which pollutants contribute to acid rain? Acid rain is caused by acidic oxides. So we can see sulfur dioxide actually dissolves in rainwater to form H2SO3, which is acidic. Carbon monoxide does not dissolve in water, so therefore it does not create acid rain. Nitrogen oxides are also soluble in water and therefore they produce acids. So we have nitrogen oxides in H2O and it forms nitric acid. So therefore sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen cause acid rain. A. Carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide. Carbon monoxide does not dissolve. B. Oxides of nitrogen and sulfur dioxide. This is correct. C. Oxides of nitrogen only. No. D. Sulfur dioxide only. This is also incorrect. So answer is B. Question 29. Which methods prevent iron from rusting? We have coating with zinc, we have painting and washing with salt water. Iron rusts because of the presence of oxygen and H2O. If we can prevent these two substances, so therefore we can prevent rusting. First is coating with zinc, so this is true because it will form a layer on iron. Second is painting, this is also true. Third is washing with salt water. Now salt water actually behaves as electrolyte, so therefore it increases the rusting process, so there should be no salt water. So therefore all options are correct for C. Question 30. Fertilizers are mixtures of different compounds used to increase the growth of crops. Which pairs of substances contain the three essential elements for plant growth? Now fertilizers are actually used because of the important elements such as nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So therefore these three elements help the plant to grow. So we have A, ammonium nitrate. From ammonium we have nitrogen and also nitrogen from nitrates. Calcium phosphate, so we have calcium and phosphorus. B is ammonium nitrate, again nitrogen and potassium chloride. C is ammonium phosphate, so we have nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and chloride. D is potassium nitrate, so we have potassium, nitrogen, calcium and carbonates. As in fertilizers we only have nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, so therefore option C is correct as it contains nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Question 31. Which processes does not add a greenhouse gas to the atmosphere? A is burning methane. Methane, when burnt in the presence of oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So this is wrong. B is decomposition of vegetation. Now when vegetation or organic material decomposes, it forms methane gas. Methane gas is also a greenhouse gas, so therefore this is also incorrect. C is polymerization. In polymerization, small water molecules or other molecules could be emitted, but it is not CH4 or CO2, so therefore polymerization does not add any greenhouse gas. D is respiration. In respiration, carbon dioxide is exhaled out, so therefore it is also a greenhouse gas. So option C is correct for this question. Question 32. Why is sulfur dioxide used as a food preservative? A. It is a gas at room temperature. Now it does not define the preservation of food, so therefore it is incorrect. B. It is used to make sulfuric acid. Again, there is no concern with food preservation for sulfuric acid making. C. It kills bacteria. This could be correct. D. It reacts with alkalis. As we do not need any reactive substance, so therefore this is also incorrect. So only option C seems to be correct for food preservation. Question 33. Which statement about lime, calcium oxide and limestone, calcium carbonate are correct? Number 1. Limestone is used in the manufacture of iron. This is true because in blast furnace calcium carbonate is used, which produces calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Calcium oxide removes impurities such as silicon dioxide in the form of calcium silicates. 2. Lime is made by heating limestone. When limestone such as calcium carbonate is heated, it produces calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas, and calcium oxide is also called lime. So this is true. 3. Powdered limestone is heated with clay in the production of cement. So therefore, as we know that calcium carbonate and clay both in the form of powder can make cement. So this is true. 4. Limestone causes soil to be acidic. When limestone reacts with water, it forms calcium hydroxide, and because of the presence of calcium hydroxide, the soil becomes basic. So this is incorrect. So option 1, 2 and 3 are correct. So therefore answer is C. Question 34. The formula of two organic compounds P and Q are shown. We have P, we can see OH group is present. In Q, we have two carbon atoms that have less number of hydrogen atoms. Which type of organic compounds are P and Q? In P we have OH group, so it means P is alcohol, so P should be alcohol. In Q we have 4 carbon atoms and 8 hydrogen atoms. This is the general formula for alkene, so therefore it is alkene. So option B is correct. Question 35. Petroleum is an important raw material that is separated into useful products. Which term describes petroleum and the method used to separate it? Petroleum is actually the term that is used for a mixture of liquid hydrocarbons. In description we have compound, mixture and mixture. So petroleum is a mixture, it is not a compound. And separation method for mixture is actually fractional distillation, it is not cracking. Cracking is used for long chain compounds to be converted into smaller chains. So option D is correct. Question 36. Which type of compound is a member of a homologous series? Homologous series is formed by organic compounds. A is carbonate. Carbonate is not organic in nature, it is inorganic, so therefore it is incorrect. B is carboxylic acid. It is correct because carboxylic acid is an organic compound and it also has a homologous series. In homologous series we have consecutive change of one carbon atom. C is halogen. Again, halogens are not organic compounds. D is hydroxide. Hydroxide is also inorganic in nature. So correct option is B. Question 37. Which statement about propene are correct? 1. Propene contains only single bonds. As propene is an alkene, so therefore its general formula is C3H6 and there is one single bond and one double bond that is present in propene molecule. 2. Propene decolorizes bromine water. Now bromine can add itself with the double bond that is present in order to convert it into single bond. And therefore this is correct. 3. Propene is obtained by cracking. In cracking, what happens that long chain hydrocarbons are converted into smaller chains and alkanes and also alkenes and hydrogen gas is produced. So therefore this is correct. 4. Propene is a hydrocarbon. Now propene, the formula is C3H6, so therefore it consists of carbon and hydrogen only. So therefore it is a hydrocarbon. So it is also correct. So option 2, 3 and 4 are correct, so therefore answer is B. Question 38. Which row describes the production of ethanol and its properties? First is it can be made from glucose, as the formula of glucose is C6H12O6 and it can be oxidized in the presence of yeast to form C2H5OH along with carbon dioxide. We have one molecule of glucose, it forms 2 molecules of ethanol and 2 molecules of, so therefore it is correct, so it could be A or B. Second is it can be made from ethene. Now the formula of ethene is C2H4 and it can react with steam or water to form ethanol, C2H5OH, so this is also correct. Third is it can be used as a fuel, as we know that it can be used as fuel. Ethanol converts into carbon dioxide and water upon combustion. And last one is it can be used as a solvent. This is also true for ethanol, as it can be used to dissolve polar as well as non-polar compounds. So therefore correct option is A. Question 39. Which statement about ethanoic acid are correct? The formula of ethanoic acid is CH3 C double bond O OH. One is it contains a carbon-oxygen double bond. Now we can see the carbon-oxygen double bond is present, so therefore it is correct. 2. It contains 2 carbon atoms. Yes, there are 2 carbon atoms in one molecule of ethanoic acid. 3. It decolorizes bromine water. Now bromine water can only decolorize alkenes. It is not an alkene as there is no double bond between carbon atom, so therefore it is incorrect. 4. It contains an OH group. We can see OH group is present in one molecule of carboxylic acid, so this is correct. So according to options, we have 1, 2 and 4, so therefore answer is C. Question 40. Which polymers are natural polymers? 1. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are obtained from fruits and also vegetables. So therefore carbohydrates are natural polymers. 2 is polyethylene. Polyethylene is actually plastic material and it is synthetic in nature. 3 is proteins. Proteins are present in living organisms, also in muscles, so therefore it is also natural polymer. So option 1 and option 3 are natural, so therefore answer is B. Thank you for watching. If this paper was useful, then please subscribe to this channel. You can also share this video with your friends. See you in the next one. Till then, take care.